friends, welcome. I'm Hannah and you're joining B-Side Yoga. In this 25-minute practice, we will flow through a short core sequence that you can really practice in itself or also built in as a warm-up flow into a longer yoga practice. Have a yoga block or any other object that has a bit of weight to it nearby, and let's get started. Find a comfortable cross-legged seated position, finding your sitting bones in touch with the mat. And if you like, closing your eyes or just finding a soft gaze down your cheeks. From here, placing one palm onto your lower belly and one onto your lower back. Taking a moment to breathe into the contact of your palms, letting your belly be soft and round on your inhale, expansion, and exhaling, contracting, drawing back down toward your spine. Continue to follow your breath, your inhale, your exhale, feeling the expansion and contraction below your palms, the movement of your body through your breath. And releasing your palms onto your knees, open your eyes if you have them closed. And we're going to start to move through some gentle seated cat-cow movements. So shifting your weight over your sitting bones forward, opening your chest, lifting your chin slightly up. Shifting your weight back, exhaling, rounding the upper spine, chin toward your chest. And as we're kind of rocking back and forth over our sitting bones, continue to press down into the contact with the mat, mobilizing your spine. Exhaling, rounding the upper back. Inhale, forward and up. And then after a couple of rounds, we can add our arms to the movement. So inhale, reaching up, palms facing forward, exhale down toward your knees. Circle the arms around, inhale, reaching up, exhale down. Imagine that you're kind of drawing two figures of 8 next to your body. So you circle your arms up and down, joining into extension and flexion in your spine. Inhale up, exhale down. And the next time that you're exhaling, lifting your legs off the ground, coming into a variation of both. Inhaling, shifting your weight over your shins onto your knees. Exhale back down. As you move forward, pushing the pelvis forward and lowering buttocks back down, lifting your legs off the ground. Continue a couple of rounds, making yourself tall as you inhale into the kneeling position. And exhale, releasing back down into boat pose. Staying here, maybe holding on to your knees for a moment. Lift up your chest. And then inhaling, extending your legs forward, lowering the upper body down. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, expansion. Exhale, contraction. Let's do one more round. Inhaling, extending, exhaling, contraction. Lower your feet onto the ground and simply hanging over your knees, maybe supporting your forehead into your palms, taking a couple of deep breaths into your lower back. Releasing your hands down, inhale, slide them up your shins, opening your chest, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, straight back. Exhale, forward fold. One more time. Inhaling into a straight back. And then pulling yourself back up into boat pose, lifting your feet off the ground. Reaching to the sides with your arms, and then from here we're going to start coming into a bit of a free flow. So imagining maybe that you're seagrass underwater, allowing the water to move below your arms, below your legs, and the currents, the movement of the water moving you in different frequencies, different directions. Exhale, feet down, folding over your knees, supporting your head, maybe on your forearms or again into your palms. Taking a couple of deep breaths. Inhale into a straight back, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, straight back. Exhale, folding back down. One more round. Inhalation. And last time, forward fold. Coming back into an upright seated position, scooping yourself a little bit forward onto the mat. And then reaching out with the arms forward, we're lowering down vertebra by vertebra onto the ground. If you notice your feet lifting up, pause for a moment and then continue to roll down onto your back. Arms next to your body. Feet in standing position, moving a little bit closer to your buttocks. And we're going to start lifting one leg after the other. Knee bent and over your hips, or in line with your hips. And then pressing the lower back toward the ground as you reach with your right hand onto your left thigh. Inhale, soften in the belly, and on the exhale, pressing the leg and the hand against each other, creating some resistance. Inhale, release. Exhale, pressing toward each other. Repeat 3 to 5 rounds. And then releasing down, switching sides, left arm onto the right thigh. Inhale, soften, and on the exhale, creating some resistance. Releasing the arm back down. Coming back to the first side. Inhale, soften the belly. On the exhale, pressing the arm and the leg towards each other and extending opposite leg and arm. Sort of a reversed balancing tabletop. Checking in with your lower back. Supported toward the ground. Repeating 3 to 5 rounds. Release. And moving over to the other side. Left arm onto the right thigh. Inhale, extension. cross-lateral movement. And releasing back down. Dropping your knees towards your chest, maybe rolling from side to side over your sacrum. Hugging your knees a little bit closer to the chest. And then releasing your feet down onto the ground. Pushing your legs forward, hands reaching over your head, making yourself long, finding a nice belly stretch. And exhale, releasing back down, bringing your feet into standing position one more time. And again, bending the knees, lifting the feet off the ground, coming into that same position. This time reaching your hands straight toward the ceiling. And we're going to start cross-laterally moving, extending opposite leg and arm away from each other. Keep pressing the lower back into the ground. It's also a bit of a brain puzzle to kind of coordinate which arm and which leg is moving. Doing 10 rounds in total. Releasing back down, maybe dropping your knees toward each other, placing your feet more or less hip width apart. Taking a couple of deep breaths. And then bringing your knees towards your chest, hugging your legs, maybe rolling from side to side, and eventually starting to rock back and forth over your back into seated, crossing your legs and finding your transition into a tabletop. Let's bring some movement into our wrists, starting to simply circle the upper body over the wrists, distributing the weight in different ways, kind of checking in with the different surfaces of your palm, your wrist, and noticing how the weight distributes. And after a couple of rounds, starting to circle one hand over the back of your palm, circling the wrist, placing the palm down and circling the other side. In your tabletop position, start inhaling, softening your belly toward the ground. Exhaling, hugging that belly in, pressing all the air out. Inhale, softening toward the ground, rounding the belly. Exhale, squeezing all the air out. Noticing the movement, this anterior and posterior tilting in your pelvis through the breath. And we're expanding on that movement, finding our cat-cow movement, spinal extension and flexion for a couple of rounds. Choosing your own rhythm, following your own rhythm of breath. Next time that you're inhaling into cow, tugging your toes, Exhaling, pressing the palms into the ground and bringing your knees into hovering tabletop. Lower down, inhale, cow. Exhale, hover your knees over the ground, inviting a little bit of a bouncing movement. Inhale, up. Exhale, lifting the knees off the ground. From hovering tabletop, walking your hips left and right up and back into downward facing dog, inviting any movement that feels good to you in downward facing dog. And then from here, we're going to start dropping our knees back down into hovering tabletop position. Inhale here, exhale, bringing the knees into hovering down. And back into downward facing dog. From down dog, transitioning forward, softening the knees, bending, lifting your hips high and unfolding the spine into plank position. Holding plank for a moment, adjusting yourself if needed. And we're going to start lower the knees down onto the ground and exhale, push back up into plank. Repeat 5 to 10 rounds. Coming back from plank into downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, again, moving forward, finding your transition into plank. Taking your time, holding your plank pose, lower the knees, lower the upper body halfway down, releasing all the way into baby cobra. Exhale, back down. Inhale, lifting up one more time, baby cobra. Tugging your toes, pushing back up, half chaturanga, all the way into downward facing dog. One more time, transition forward into plank. This time, holding on to your block or whatever object is that you have and placing it left of your left hand, and then reaching through with the right, carrying it over to the right outer edge. So we're moving this object from one side to the other while keeping your plank as stable as possible. Lower your knees down, chest down, inhale baby cobra, exhale down. Lifting back up, baby cobra, tug your toes, transitioning back into downward facing dog. Walking your feet forward, inhale, halfway lift into a straight back, exhale, folding down. Lifting up all the way, hands over your head and down the sides of your body. From standing, continue, inhale, up, exhale, forward fold. Lifting into a straight back and exhale, back down, forward fold. Stepping back into your downward facing dog. Transitioning one more time forward into plank position. Softening the knees, lifting the buttocks high, and vertebra vertebra unfolding. Again, we're transitioning the object below our plank from one side to the other, reaching through and out, keeping the torso, the hips in line or parallel to the ground. Doing 5 to 10 rounds. Lower down, your choice, either upward facing dog or repeating baby cobra. We're meeting back in a downward facing dog. And from there, lower your knees toward the ground, tabletop position. Inhale, cow. Exhale, rounding your spine, sitting all the way back into child's pose. Hands stretched out in front of you. Or if you like, placing the elbows onto the ground and supporting your head a little bit elevated into your palms. Take a couple of deep breaths in your child's pose. Before you roll yourself back up into sitting on your heels, dropping the hips from one side, shifting your legs forward. And from here we're coming into a seated twist, stepping the left foot over the right, so the foot next to the knee, left knee is bent, reaching up your hands over your head, and then with the right arm hooking the left leg and the left arm supported behind your buttocks. Rotation. Inhaling, finding length through the crown of your head, exhaling into the rotation. Feel free to come out and move into the position again. And continue breathing. Releasing, moving to the other side, right knee, right leg stepping over the left knee, and left arm hugging the right knee, right arm supported behind your buttocks. Rotation to the other side. Inhale one more time, reaching the hands up toward the front and pull yourself back into the rotation. Releasing back to center, reaching both legs forward, toes flexed, waving a couple of times as you make your way into a seated forward fold, interior tilt in your pelvis, flexion in your spine. Keeping your knees as bent as needed. And again, feel free to come out of the position and move into it again. Releasing your hands, rolling back up into an upright seated position, crossing your legs, coming back to cross-legged seated position, the way we started this short sequence, and again placing one palm on your belly, other palm on your lower back, closing your eyes if you like, and tuning back in to that movement of your breath, the expansion on your inhale, contraction on your exhale. Thanks for joining this short sequence. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to subscribe to the channel for news and updates, and I'll see you next time.